Oh, wait a minute. Let me get that off. Okay. Hi, everyone. How are you? Let me fix my camera here a little bit. Okay. All right. Oh, now I can hear me on the other tab. Aaron, shut up. Okay. I bet there's a lot of people who like to say that, huh? I don't care. Hi, everyone. Happy Tuesday night. I'm going to be streaming for no more than, well, I don't think I'll go 2 hours, but I can't go more than 2 hours because then I have to go to work. Hi, Mr. Black Wolf. How are you? Long time no live stream chat. Why am I frozen? Oh, that's why. Move that. Yay. Okay, that's better. Now I can see me moving. So how is everyone? I hope well. It's not showing me how many people are here. Okay. It's always like a little bit behind. So yeah, I'm going to just go right into it and start wrapping up the commentary of the stream or whatever by Hidden True Crime. Let me do something real quick. Oh, you, Jane, you ignorant slut. I'm not going to say who I'm talking about. Just reading my comments. But yes, someone is Jane and ignorant slut in my comment. Well, they're not Jane probably, but the rest I think of. So I am live streaming on Firefox, so I'm not going to be able to play it from the YouTube channel. I'm just going to have to play it from the video file. So I already have that loaded, though. I'm ready to go. I actually kind of prepped today. Hi, Reagan. How are you? I hope you are well. I hope everyone's well. And if you're not well, go get well. Okay. All right. So let me switch this here. Add to stage.
Actually is going to have the most to talk about. Yeah. Because I actually, went live for 9 hours, as many of you have pointed.
And I have to jump ahead. I think it's like right around the 140 mark or something. I left off, so we're just going to maybe 150. Just in the interest of getting through this fucking thing already. So I am doing very well, thank you, Reagan. I mean, I had a little bit of a rough day or two there, but then I got some good news, and then I don't have to really give much of a fuck. So I took back some of my fucks. What happened? So I'm doing a lot better. Thank you, Reagan. I hope you are as well. And you too, Mr. Blackwell. All right, let's get going.
Yep. Stalking was.
Oh, so for those of you who don't know, I'm sure if you're on YouTube, you're aware, Lauren Matthias, whatever, from Hidden True Crime. If not, you need to get out of your YouTube rock because you should. So she did this 9-hour live stream a ways back where she told me to read her way through it for 9 hours. She had taken out a bogus TRO on someone who she had a fallen out with a friend. She had that person served with a TRO upon arrival to a true crime convention. And this TRO basically forbid this person from attending any of the true crime convention, any events, any part of it. And they couldn't go any place where Lauren was, and they couldn't even talk to like a certain amount of people or whatever, or like a specific people. So this trip that her name was Christina, she had planned. She bought the tickets for like months in advance. This was, like I was her one years ago. You have kids, don't really have a whole lot of money. You definitely don't have a lot of time and freedom. So you plan something like this in months. It's all you look forward to. I go argue in court in the middle in Kansas there twice. It was miserable, but I still kind of look forward to getting away. Just I'm not going to do that again. But yeah, so it matters. It means something. when you get to this thing that you've been waiting for, you're ready to participate, you're ready to party, you're ready to see your friends and see all these people that you admire and everything, you're stopped and you're told, go back to your room and stay there until it's over. It's effectively what. So, oh, I should say, when Lauren Matthias started her whole 9-hour stream there, she had about 325,000 subscribers. Christina over on TikTok had about 600 followers on TikTok. Christina has like almost 2,000, and Lauren Matthias has like last I checked, it was like 314,000. But yeah, so that's what we're doing. And in response to the 9-hour stream, and a lot of people like, yo, what's wrong with you? She decides to drag her husband up on with her to basically set the narrative and explain her crazy away and why everyone else is crazy and she should just be loved and admired, basically. So that's what we're commentating on, is that stream.
To happen online or through some other electronic means. Criteria 3. Criteria 4. The victim must feel fearful because of the accused person's actions.
Why does me think
we just covered that?
Glitching out. Good internet. Okay.
The final criteria in Nevada is what's called the reasonable standard. The conduct must be such that a reasonable person in the same situation would also be afraid. That, of course, is not up. That would be up to us to determine. That would be up to the triers of fact, which would be a judge or a jury. Let's talk about.
Wait a minute, though. Like, didn't she say in the last bit I commented on that what he does as a profession is he evaluates offenders? Well, shouldn't he be able to evaluate if something is reasonable or a reaction from a person is reasonable or not? I mean, I clearly he can't, but you would think he would be able to. So, I mean, I don't know. I feel like there's a missed opportunity there.
This is from probably the best.
Also, having about half a cocktail here because I do have to go to work. This is a caramel apple martini. It is, just grab like apple puckers. I use Smirnoff caramel for this. You kind of just like drizzle some caramel on the inside of the glass, and in a shaker with ice, you put about, I did about a shot of the apple, a shot of the caramel, and then a little bit of apple juice. Oh, and one quick squeeze of the caramel. Shit out of it, then pour it in. It is delicious.
Best known textbook.
It has to be apple puckers, though. The caramel doesn't matter, but it has to be apple puckers.
Stalking, the most well-read and respected textbook on stalking. It's called Stalkers and Their Victims. It's by Mullen, Pathay, and Purcell. It's the second edition from 2009. It's published by Cambridge University Press. Stalkers and Their Victims. Page 153.
Of the second edition.
The following behaviors characterize cyber stalking. Number 1, sending repeated unwanted messages.
Messages. Okay.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, via a public platform.
Right. So
Well,
obviously,
through
Or
email,
text.
through text,
Social media.
I'm feeling threatened, and then through a public social media platform.
through social media.
Messages, though.
Another criteria. Publishing private information of a potentially damaging or embarrassing nature. Again, I mentioned that publishing private information is illegal, but that too is cyber stalking. So
In most states, simply doxing is, and it's not a crime. It can lead to other crimes, so that's the problem, and then you can be charged for those other crimes. But not everything is considered personal or private identifiable information. Like your legal name, your full name, that's not subject to privacy. You know, it's not doxing if you share that. I just want to throw that out.
anybody in this
Or just
group
maybe, I don't know.
who has published private information about you publicly, potentially damaging to your reputation, is part of the smear campaign. And they're engaging in cyber stalking.
Well, see, here's what I don't get: the smear campaign. Okay, I mean, I know what they're talking about here for the smear campaign, but not everything is considered a smear by everyone. You know, like you could be saying something about someone, like, I don't know, like looked really, I don't know, they looked really good when you guys dated in high school. You know, that's not a smear campaign. Or they were really fat when you knew them. That's not a smear campaign. You know, but some people would take it that way, I guess. I don't know.
The next criteria, spreading false information. How many rumors, how much gossip is in spread about you?
So much.
You damage, you hurt creators, that you don't care about victims, right? Like no matter what you say or do, that rumor persists endlessly. And then in the smear campaign, you get, wait for the receipts, wait for the receipts. That too is a form of harassment. That too is a threat. When you wake up every day to a social media campaign of multiple people constantly saying they're going to take you down.
And writing, again, my professional contact saying, oh, just for the receipts. Just wait, they're coming.
But there's
spreading false information. Another criteria.
Okay, so like if you got caught lying or doing something fucked up, or something was exposed about you that was actually true, someone saying, wait for the receipts is no different than someone saying, I'm going to go to court with evidence. You know what I mean? Just because you are living on the edge of your seat, or maybe you're in hole because you're like, oh my God, would this fucking shoe just drop already? Doesn't make it harassment, you know? Like you yourself could just put it out, get ahead of it. Depending on what it is, probably.
Here's another criteria. Gathering information about a victim online. That's called doxing.
No.
Did we get doxed?
Gathering information is not doxing. Publicly releasing information could potentially be doxing.
Oh, we got doxed. We got so doxed.
They had to work a little bit harder because.
Is that what y'all call it when you're in John's cage there in the garage? So doxed. It's okay.
You didn't have a LinkedIn, which is super sauce. It's like saying you don't have a face if you don't have a Facebook. You know, is anything we're saying true?
So doxing, by the way, that's classic harassment. In fact, doxing is defined as harassment.
All right, I have a question here for the chat. Does the screen just like flicker out every now and then, like the square with the video, or the video I'm playing just like flicker out and come right back? Because it's doing that for me, and I'm just wondering if it's doing that across the board.
Were we doxed? Yes, I was doxed. You were doxed. You know, I guess there was some good news that came out of it, because she said, the TikToker said that she believed there was so little information on us because we curated our accounts. We have
curated our Google search results.
We've curated nothing.
Yeah, you're allowed to do that.
I don't even know how I would curate. I don't like curate.
I mean, maybe we should get someone to do that.
And here is the last cyber stalking.
I think even Google will do that. You can start a subscription or something, possibly with Google. But I know that there's other websites that will go throughout, like scan the entire internet and try to remove information from you from these information data gathering sites, you know, that hold like your last 15 addresses and shit like that. You know, you can absolutely do that. That's been around for like, God, maybe, I don't think a decade, but maybe a decade, you know, close to it anyway. It's nothing new.
The behavior that defines cyber stalking.
Why does they keep doing that?
Ready for this one?
Mm-hmm.
Encourage others to harass the victim.
There's a lot of that, and a lot of that publicly.
How do you encourage?
Exactly.
It can happen.
Do we fit these criteria? Do we fit?
But like, what do they consider encouragement? You know, like if you are a content creator and you're like, everyone watching this and everyone on the go to this person's account and leave the most horrific messages you can think of. Do this for me and do this daily until I say stop or something. Sure, that will probably garnish some unnecessary hate. And sure, it would be your fucking fault. But people sharing the situation or the current events of the channel has experienced is not encouraging anyone to do anything. So
sessions. All right. So I'm going to stay with the textbook, Stalkers and Their Victims edition. I'm going to use some of their definitions.
this is skipping like crazy. What the fuck's going on?
Page 2,
Connection.
defining stalking. And again, this isn't cyber stalking. I'm defining stalking here, broadly speaking.
Sorry, that was all I know.
Or they don't even call it stalking, they call it obsessional following. This is how they define obsessional following. You ready? Quote, an abnormal or long-term pattern of threat or harassment directed towards a specific individual. Yep. Here's how the authors define it. Stalking is, quote, a constellation of behaviors.
I'm going to pause this for just a second. I'm going to try and try to hotspot off my phone. Maybe that'll help. Okay. Now I think I'm back. I think I'm doing better with the internet. I kicked a few other devices off of my Wi-Fi. So let me just go grab the video file again and I'm ready to go. Hi Francesca. Internet issues. I always have them. Sadly, I always have them. All right, here we go. No, I don't remember where we're about.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
We're back. Rhetoric.
You said lives. Did Charlie Kirk have multiple
Lost
lives?
their life.
Okay, there you go. Yeah.
What?
We talk about privacy.
I gotta hear this shit.
In a team, I mean, people can believe whatever they want, but like
Hi,
this idea of teams
Sorry,
is
I don't have my
absurd.
glasses on. Hi,
If you look
Francesca.
at the
Welcome.
criteria for stalking, how it's defined legally and academically. There's two teams. There's team Lauren, who fits all the criteria of stalking and cyber stalking, every one of them. And then the stalking team, who doesn't fit who meets all the criteria of someone who's stalking. I don't know. I mean, have we litigated that in court yet? Nope. But I feel very confident that if and when we do,
Wait, when?
if re-up this case and litigate it in another state that's not Provo, Utah,
What's wrong with Utah?
that we're going to show quite clearly that you meet the criteria for stalking and that you need protection.
And to the media who thinks that filming civil stalking injunctions is okay. By the way, I hope that you could reconsider that position and wonder if this is maybe why people that are being abused.
Well, the court allowed it, right? So I would say this okay. And again, I'm going to stress this. This isn't some like battered, abused woman who's in a relationship with this asshole guy who won't leave her alone, and lives like just a few streets away. And she needs this literally for her protection. This isn't about some minor who has some crazy ass adult who like abuses them or something. Okay. This is a 40-something-year-old woman who had a falling out with, I don't know how old she is, but she definitely doesn't look in her 40s, maybe early 30s. With this other woman. This other woman took to her own TikTok space. So in other words, Lauren has to go to her house, pull up her shit and sit there and watch it to even know what's going on. She has to be one of at the time, like the 60 people who did that. So this isn't some vulnerable person who's, at the mercy of someone else. This is someone who has control. This is someone who has the platform of over 300,000 subscribers. Okay. This is someone who I'm assuming maybe has more money and shit, and has more clout. Lauren has the control here. And that's why she's doing this, because she wants to assert her control. And she's kind of pissed that she didn't get to do that. My opinion. Whatever.
Can't escape their abusers, or that it might be used as an abuser's way of coercive control if they're encouraging media to cover a civil stalking injunction.
For real. I think all civil stalking things of this nature involving just YouTubers or content creators, people have never even been in the same state with each other, let alone met each other, although I think they both, but still you get my point. I think they should be open to the public. I think people should be allowed to stream into it and watch it. And even, I guess, maybe record it. Maybe the court should record it and put it out there, like on the, court TV channels or something. You know what I mean? It should be the case, because so many of these are bullshit, as Lauren Matthias shows us. They're bullshit. And if it's allowed to stay and live in the dark, it's more likely to rain. But you put some light on that shit and it just zaps it right out. That's exactly what happened.
Well, and on that point, by the way, we fought vigorously for privacy.
We did.
Vigorously.
The same county, by the way, where Charlie Kirk was assassinated, I might add, by someone who was incited by online rhetoric and violence. The same county.
So does that make her shot by association? I don't get what that means. Like, I mean, I'm in the same county where there's an overdose, like, and like, I don't know, every 3 miles, every day. Does that mean I'm gonna have an overdose? Well, it's drug maybe, but I don't, probably not. So what does that even mean? The same county. It might as well have been me. That's kind of what it sounds like. I don't know what that's what she's saying, but damn, it sure sounds like that. And it's a weird fucking person to want to be at that time, you know?
Where someone lost their lives because of online rhetoric.
You said lives. Did Charlie Kirk have multiple
Lost
lives?
their life.
Okay, there you go. Yeah.
That was a shit fucking sarcastic remark there, Dr. John. You said lives, huh? Was he like a cat? I mean, he didn't say that, but that's kind of what he sounded like. And then he makes it sound like, okay, there you go. Like, I just wanted to do that to correct you because you were wrong. I don't like this guy. I'm sure he's largely harmless other than maybe in his profession. I don't know. But I don't like him.
On that note, when you talk about privacy, let's remind everybody you guys have gone public 4 months ago.
Yeah.
We could have sent masses to women out 4 months ago. And why didn't we? Because we said, it's okay, we'll handle it. Let's be private about it. We don't want any.
Is that producer lady or whatever in the background who's like just as low-cowy as Lauren from what I saw?
Nobody knew about it for months because we continued to just try and be quiet until we felt like we had no other option.
So Grayson is over here saying, let's remind.
You know, I guess she's right. Nobody knew about this for months because at the time, Christina had like maybe 600 followers. Like I have like 400. So her shit was about this little bit bigger than mine. So I'm willing to bet that, yeah, a lot of people know her videos or her sharing her experience with this fallout that she had with this friend until Lauren struck the fuck out of it, you know? So I'm sorry, whose fault would that be again?
People that we could have come forward in public 4 months ago and taken this into our hands and send everybody over to her account and taking care of this 4 months ago.
You think that would have played out? You see how this played out this right now, right? I mean, how you sent them to her account wouldn't have changed the outcome of people seeing what they saw while at her account. I'm sorry, I have visual alerts on my phone and the thing keeps freaking me out. I'm going to change that off for now.
But we didn't because we wanted this to remain private. And we didn't want people going over to her account to harass her or attack
of course
her.
Not. Of course not, because, well, then they would take the spotlight off of you, in my opinion.
We could have gone forward, come forward.
As Katie Joy would have put it, she wasn't going to let her steal my thunder.
4 months ago is what you're saying.
Yeah, and I'm also saying somebody reached out to me who knows this person, and they just wanted to let me know that they had been contacted, and I told them I find myself having a lot of empathy for her right now, regardless of what she's done, because I see the hate that she's getting, and I would never want somebody to feel that way. I would never want somebody to consider maybe doing something to themselves or maybe.
Yeah, and I think at the time this video was done, I think Christina was some hate because, this is, okay, so I didn't hear Christina say this. Just, this is my impression. This is what I imagine would be thinking and feeling. Christina was telling her experience. Lauren was undoubtedly in Patreon bitching about it, or, just like hugely public on her channel. So and Lauren has a huge platform, almost 500,000. So it's going to cause this fair amount of people to go over and leave shitty ass comments over on TikTok, no doubt. But most importantly, that's going to just give Christina this defeated feeling that no one's ever going to believe me. No matter how I say it, they're always going to believe her because she has all the power. So I have no doubt that they was frustrating for Christina. But then when the tides changed and turned, Yeah, I think I got a little better maybe. And I paused for mute for a second.
You know, like, I actually don't believe, sorry, I don't think that the way you get somebody to have remorse and to change their behavior is by screaming at them.
Yeah.
I actually feel like that incites anger, makes them more vengeful. And so I find myself having a lot of
hurt people.
it can hurt people. It can incite, look at the death threat we got online. Somebody putting a gun and quite literally shooting it, saying, if you come to my state, guess what I'm gonna do?
Okay.
But so I don't believe, and I telling this person who reached out, who had a relationship with this person,
the TikToker,
and just wanted to give me some information. Thank you for the information. And I literally sent back a message and said, I find myself having a lot of empathy. And although I'm really struggling right now, it's a secret I am. I've been public about it, haven't been public about the specifics. I find myself having a lot of empathy because I wonder if she's maybe in a similar boat that I've been in for the last while. And I never want somebody that way again.
I don't know what this woman's been through, and I'm heartbroken to hear that she's been through anything really. And I hope whatever it is, I hope it resolves quickly and it's better. But I do kind of question if what she's feeling is a little less, and well, I'm sure there's some empathy, but there might be guilt too, because I saw the body cam footage at the true crime convention when Christina was served. So when the police informed Lauren and the producer that Christina had been served, and I don't know, it looked like Lauren there just all but did a little bit of a jig when she heard about it. Like she was just so happy. I don't know.
I don't think that going to her account and screaming at her and telling her she's wrong, if you want someone to change, that's not the way to get them to change.
Hi, Rhonda.
That actually makes them worse. The best way you can appeal to somebody's empathy and appeal to their conscience, really, if they have one, is by having one yourself and trying to do it reasonably. Now, is this person reasonable? I wouldn't necessarily say so, but I will say that, like, again, just going crazy on.
If anyone questions if Christina is at all reasonable, okay, or you doubt that she's reasonable, I implore you to just watch the body cam footage of the police officer when she's served with this TRO at this true crime convention that she probably looked forward to for months to go, and was told that she has to stay in her hotel room all the time. See how she responds to that, because I gotta tell you, she's probably one of the most reasonable fucking people I've ever seen, especially on the internet. I don't think I would have responded quite as reasonably. I don't know. So yeah,
on her on social media is not gonna.
And then compare to how Lauren responded upon hearing that the shit she wanted to keep private was now going to become public when she did her 9-hour stream. You tell me who's fucking reasonable one then. Yeah. And listen, I have no hate for Lauren. I don't really know her channel or whatever. And I don't to see her receive any hate or any shit at all, really. And especially as a result of my words. As always, my words and actions affect yours none against anyone. Okay? I implore this, please. I don't want that control or power or whatever or life. I don't want that. I don't deserve it. I'm not worthy. Just keep getting brighter.
Well, yeah, and to the people that egged her on. That's my point too. The peer pressure to every one of the commenters egging her on and continuing to tell her to do this. You also, hold some responsibility.
And what?
What? It's mobbing. It's group bullying. And you didn't help her either. So
I've gone through the criteria for stalking.
That comes across to me as Lauren saying to all people who told Christina that she could and should stand up for herself, you just made this a lot harder for me, and shame on you. That's how that sounds to me.
And academic definitions To me, it seems pretty cut that you meet those criteria. Let's move on to
What, KCG? I've been watching Turtle Boy. What do you mean? Sadly, Turtle Boy has found Lauren, and is giving her the same treatment as Karen Reed. He was like kind of tearing her to shreds. Like he drew fucking crazy eyebrows on himself with like a Sharpie or some shit to mock her. They not have the same treatment that I saw him give to Karen Reed. I don't know.
different types of stalkers. So I'm going to refer to the same textbook, Stalkers and Their Victims, second edition, published in 2009.
That was a great year for second editions.
There are two different typologies. There's actually multiple typologies. There's like 4 typologies of stalkers that they identify, 4 or 5. I only want to focus on the ones that apply here. So they actually lump them together because there's a lot of overlap, but they refer to this type of stalking as the rejected stalker and the resentful stalker. So what is the rejected stalker? The rejected stalker is rejected stalker occurs as a consequence of the breakdown of a close relationship.
Close relationship. I want to just emphasize on that for a second because I think they were friends, so they probably had somewhat of a close relationship. But there's a lot of relationships online that are nowhere near close or even really consider relationships that still deal with this shit. I don't know. Oh shit! I just went backwards. Let's do this again.
Is ready. He's like, hold my
Power and pain of adolescence is
Oh my god.
competitive. They overestimate themselves and they derogate others. I mean, this type of stalker had high rates of personality problems with antisocial and narcissistic traits being particularly prominent.
Turtle Boy's giving her the attention level. I see what you're saying there. Yeah. I mean, I think but in Lauren's case, I don't think he's the only one. You know, there's like every time I go onto YouTube, there's several streams I watch of people, you know, talking about this, bring this, and you know, exposing this or whatever about Lauren. When I first learned of Karen Reed, he was like the only one talking about it. That's insane, man. How does a story that big go unnoticed by so much media, even after he was covering it for what, like a year almost or whatever? The media still wasn't picking up on it. Like, that's just like, you're in the wrong profession if you didn't pick up on that shit. That's all I'm saying. No, I see what you're saying now. Yeah. All right. I get what you're saying.
There was also a small but significant cluster with marked dependency traits. So those are rejected stalkers. Let's move on to what they call the resentful stalker.
Oh my, like, can you have your pages ready to go? Like this, it's a book.
So the rejected stalker part of this is the rejection of your friendship.
Okay.
Let's talk about the resentful stalker.
Okay.
The resentful stalker emerges where the stalker feels that they have been exposed to an injustice or humiliation. That was you calling her annoying in a private text.
Yeah.
So she's both a rejected and a resentful stalker.
Sorry.
The victim of the resentful stalker is someone who is attracted to the stalker's enmity by their own actions or by seen as representative of an oppressing group. The desire is for revenge, sometimes of a surreptitious nature.
Oh, shit. Sorry. Microphone again.
The sustaining motivation of the resentful stalker is satisfying the sense of power and control that comes from harassing the victim. The resentful stalker almost invariably feels justified in their actions. That's the moral part. Presents themselves as a victim, fighting back against a more powerful oppressor. That, by the way, is there many people have picked up on because you're the big creator.
Yeah.
She must be the victim.
Right.
right? That's a common theme that seems to be out there, that somehow you're harassing her.
No, not that she must be the victim. There's certain scenarios where no doubt the smaller creator could absolutely be the non-victim. It's the fact that she's holding all the power and the control and is trying to assert it. That's where the size kind of comes into play. I have a feeling John knows that down too well.
Because by
I'm
doing
kidding,
this,
I'm
because
kidding.
she's the poor victim, right? That's what's resentful.
She's not a creator. She's just a person that is a tourist at trials, and I'm the big podcaster.
Well, you're the big stuff. All right, I'm Patty. Oh, I didn't have to.
Let's talk a little bit deeper into the resentful stalker. Here are some clinical features of the resentful stalker. Again, I'm reading from the textbook, Stalkers and Their Victims.
Oh, KCG, I absolutely think that matters. KCG says, it's weird because Karen and Lauren are both conventionally, and I'm confused about whether or not it matters. Oh yeah, it absolutely matters. Mm-hmm. I think that it's by and large a big part of why Lauren hasn't been canceled and why she has over 300,000 subscribers to her channel. I also think that that's why people found it easier to make I don't know, to reach a sense of compassion for Christina, because she's beautiful too, you know. And Karen Reed, yeah, absolutely, because as fucked up as it is, no one wants to see a girl spend her life in jail. It's fucked up. No one, I mean, I don't want to see anyone really have to spend their life in jail, but I get it, shit happens. But yeah, that's, humans are very vain and shallow and vapid and at times, and so yeah, I think it matters. It should, but it does.
This is page 76. Quote, a context of conflict which one party experiences themselves as a victim of injustice can give rise to stalking. This type of stalking is initially motivated by desire for retribution. The stalking is designed to frighten and distress the victim.
They would only apply to the no. And only if Christina had been railroaded in court, right? Probably. That just because she were to lose a court doesn't mean that suddenly she's going to become the stalker that everyone accused her. No, of course not. But what he's describing and explaining wouldn't have even, the variables wouldn't have even been applicable beforehand. So I understand he's.
The stalking becomes persistent because of the satisfactions the stalker obtains, sense of power and control over someone who is in most cases has been previously regarded as being in a stronger and privileged position. In keeping with the stalker's perception of their victim as more powerful, the more extended episodes of resentful stalking will often be pursued anonymously initially.
Again, though, he's stretching. I mean, this is just two women who have their own space on social media. You know, I'm guessing that Lauren's been at this a bit longer than Christina, so that's probably why Lauren has a bigger following at this time than Christina. That could change. It could not. I don't know. But, I mean, what he's describing is like someone who just had the worst freaking life imaginable because like they were poor or something, and because the rich got away with everything. His parents died young as a result, or her parents, whatever, one or the other, and they have no education, you know. And then they see like the privileged people just, you know, I don't know, gracefully just floating through life pretty much. And it gets to them and it just, you know, eats away at them. And then they start thinking like they're owed this or they're entitled to this, you know. And then they start crazy. It's the sense of entitlement, okay? Two women who had a falling out. What? Come on now. Like, he thinks very little of women. Seriously. He must think that women are just all batshit crazy. For real. I find it hugely misogynistic.
When this type of stalker is interviewed, they almost invariably present themselves not as an avenger, but as a victim who, in the process of defending themselves, is striking back at the oppressor. So, in other words, it's a moral crusade.
And she does this. She'll say, I'm just here. This isn't gossip.
I'm just trying to deal with the big bad wolf that's Lauren.
I'm just trying to present patterns she's had for so long.
Let's talk about psychopathology.
I'm curious if anyone knows maybe the answer to this. Like, throughout the course of time that Christina was making her shorts, her videos, or whatever they're on TikTok, talk about her ex-friend, like, was Lauren like giving her shit still? Like, even though they had their falling out, I'm guessing that they weren't talking anymore. Was Lauren still kind of just fucking with her, like, either behind the scenes or maybe just not so behind the scenes? You know, I'm curious because I have no idea about that.
Of the resentful stalker. Page 77, quote, the pattern which emerged from personality testing suggested self-centered, immature individuals who are hostile, demanding, and argumentative. They overestimate themselves and they derogate others. That means they put others down. Defensiveness and denial is rampant in this group. They tend to have poor frustration tolerance with high suppressed against a more powerful oppressor. That, by the way, is a narrative that many people have picked up on. Because you're the big creator, she must be the victim. Right? That's a common theme that seems to be out there. Somehow you're harassing her because she's the poor victim, right? That's what's resentful.
She's not a creator. She's just a person that is a tourist at trials, and I'm the big podcaster.
Let's dig a little bit deeper into the resentful stalker. Some features of the resentful stalker. Again, I'm reading from the textbook Stalkers and Their Victims, second edition. This is page 76. Quote, a context conflict in which one party experiences themselves as a victim of injustice can give rise to stalking. This type of stalking is initially motivated by the desire for retribution. The stalking is designed to frighten and distress the victim. Stalking becomes persistent because of the satisfactions the stalker obtains from the sense of power and control over someone who, in most cases, has been previously regarded as being in a stronger and more privileged position. In keeping with the stalker's perception of their victim as being more powerful, more extended episodes of resentful stalking will often be pursued anonymously, at least initially. When this type of stalker is interviewed, they almost invariably present themselves not as an avenger, but as a victim who, in the process of defending themselves, is striking back at the oppressor. So, in other words, it's a moral crusade.
And she does this. She'll say, I'm just here. This isn't gossip. I'm just
trying to deal with the big bad wolf that's Lauren.
I'm trying to present patterns she's had for so long.
Let's talk about psychopathology of the resentful stalker. Page 7, quote, the pattern which emerged from personality testing suggested self-centered, immature individuals who are hostile, demanding, and argumentative. They overestimate themselves and they derogate others. That means they put others down. Defensiveness and denial is rampant in this group. They tend to have poor frustration tolerance with high suppressed anger.
My fucking head's gonna
check.
Yeah.
Check. Okay, I'm stopping.
Oh, let me say on that issue, like, I don't know. Do I know for sure that she fits this category? No, I don't. Like, just looking at her behaviors, it's like she fits some of this.
Well, according to Dr. John here, according to Christina's behaviors, she must fit all of these like criterias or whatever, because he's reading them all. Am I saying that this, she fits this? I don't know. I'm just saying her behavior kind of says she might fit it. Well, what about the fucking last 15 you just ratted off? Were you wrong about that? Imagine the kind of person that would actually just hit every fucking criteria for all of these crazy stalking profiles and personalities. That would be someone I would not want to cross paths with. Okay.
But I'm not diagnosing here, right? I'm just reading from a textbook.
Research.
Citing the research, right? I'm not saying necessarily that she fits this. I think people...
Because everyone does their research on a live stream while talking about how it's a moral crusade and virtuous violence, and she wants to see you dead and your kingdom burned to the ground. Because that's research, right? Fuck up.
Could make that a decision of their own. Let's go on. Page 77, next paragraph. Resentful stalkers as a group showed a marked tendency to consciously attempt to present themselves in a socially desirable light, perhaps fitting with our view that these people attempt to project themselves as good victims battling forces of evil. Let me repeat that because it fits everything we talked about earlier. Resentful stalkers fit they fit with the view that they attempt to project themselves as good victims battling the forces of evil. That's exactly how this is. That's exactly how most smear campaigns are framed. The results of MPI studies in 24 resentful stalkers supported the notion that these people regard themselves as misunderstood, mistreated, with low frustration tolerance, and difficulty with authority figures. Difficulty with authority figures.
Well, everyone's
so taunting police, doing mic drops outside of courthouses, violating stalking and
So for those who didn't catch, I think it was my last part of this commentary. He keeps calling this a fucking mic drop. Everyone who hears this, think about the last time you used or a year to the phrase mic drop, either through emoji or through the actual words. Like, it was probably after you read someone else's post that shut shit down. You're like, oh, dude, well, mic drop. Or if when you just had enough and you fucking shut someone shit down, and you're like, yeah, bitch, mic drop. You know, the fact that he's calling what Christina said or streamed or whatever on the court step mic drop sounds to me like he's admitting defeats. This is, never mind. I'm not going to say the boomer joke.
Within hours after they're served by police, telling the stalker, you cannot go within 500 feet of your victim, no matter what.
The kind of Oh, I'm back now. Okay. Yay. Okay. I forgot what I was saying. Damn it.
Those are some of the definitions. So I've talked about the definitions of stalking. I've talked about the types of stalking. Now let's talk about victim impact. Actually, before I get to victim impact, let me talk a little bit about, let's talk more about actually qualities of cyberbullies. So specifically about cyber.
I feel like I'm listening to a lecture on like tax law or something right now. Fuck.
Cyberbullies. There isn't a lot of research on adult cyberbullies, by the way, but there's enough. There's some interesting research. This is from a research article entitled Systematic Review of Empirical Studies on Cyberbullying in Adults, What We Know and What We Should Investigate. This is by Gennaro et al. In the journal Aggression and Violent Behavior. This is 2018, so reasonably recent. 28.
6 years old.
This is on page
7 years old. I can't do math.
118. Here are some of the qualities of cyberbullies.
See, here's what I don't like. Okay, he's pulling up these studies or whatever, and he's reading from them, but he doesn't read any of the abstract. Okay, it's like the TLDR version, maybe, or whatever. And I think that provides context that helps you understand other individual parts of the study. Instead, he's just cherry picking the parts that he thinks sound supportive to his propaganda here. I don't trust that.
In a cyberbullying situation, not only the victims are affected. Several studies found that cyberbullies exhibit more psychological symptoms, including depression.
Mhm.
So that's interesting, right?
Yeah.
They could be more depressed than.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they experience depression. They have more unemotional, impulsive, and psychopathic traits. They're high sensation seekers, and they sometimes engage in violent and drug crimes. The interesting part of this to me is the depression, that they're unemotional, they're impulsive, and lo and behold, cyberbullies have psychopathic traits, which means that they defy or oppose authority figures.
And I missed all that. I'm sorry. I want to hear
Quote, they also scored high on internet.
That's too much.
Those are some of the skills, problematic
Oh my God, come on.
research. This is from, here are some of the qualities of cyberbullies. Quote, in a cyberbullying situation, not only the victims are affected. Several studies found that cyberbullies exhibit more psychological symptoms, including depression.
Yeah.
It's interesting, right?
Yeah.
They could be more depressed than.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they experience depression. They have more unemotional, impulsive, and psychopathic traits. They're high sensation seekers and sometimes engage in violent and drug crimes. The most interesting part of this to me is the depression, that they're unemotional, impulsive, and lo and behold, cyberbullies tend to have psychopathic traits, which means that they defy or oppose authority figures.
That's not psychopathic. It can't be. No, seriously though, what does that mean, engage in drug crimes? Like, because I feel like that sounds, or it's meant to be different than engaging in drug use. You know, like that's how it comes across or comes off to me. I don't know. Maybe it's one and the same, but it sounds like it's not.
Quote, also scored high on internet use, showed a lack of social skills, problematic alcohol use, and not surprisingly, low empathy towards their cyberbullying victims. So cyberbullies are unemotional, they lack empathy, they're impulsive, they have psychopathic traits, they may have some depression.
My friend gave me this spray on sanitizer that's watermelon scent. I fucking love this. Like, I can't stop using it. I just want to bathe in it. It smells so good.
Let's talk about impact.
Molly Shannon from like Saturday Night Live. Sorry, you had to see that.
How cyberbullying impact its victims. This is an extraordinary. This is an extraordinary study.
In other words, this is going to give me everything I want, and it's going to paint the picture perfectly for us to try to dupe and manipulate our viewers, in my opinion.
Buddy.
Just have to say, for all those people saying bring the receipts,
This
Dr. John's bringing the research receipts.
It's not a receipt, though. It's not. I mean, the research was there before you and Christina had your falling out. So how is it now a receipt when it would been there for? He just said 2018. It's not a receipt.
Bringing the research receipts, right? You brought the actual receipts. I'm bringing the research receipts.
Did I must have missed that? Like, I think I missed that in the 9-hour stream. I think I missed it everywhere. I didn't see any receipts. I don't know.
This is from a well-known article in the American Psychologist. The American Psychologist, by the way, is one of the premier journals for psychologists. It's from 2017, volume 72. It's
But not philosophers.
Underwood and Ehrenreich. It's called The Power and Pain of Adolescence's Digital Communication, Cyber Victimizations, and Perils of Lurking.
He just said adolescence. Adolescence. I mean, think about that. Whatever the fuck Lauren Matthias went through would have been a million times different had she been an adolescent. Anything anyone goes through online would have been possibly detrimental through adolescence, as opposed to, I don't know, middle age. That's not to say shit can't hurt at middle age, sure. But it's a whole different level here with adolescence. Like, what is he fucking doing? This just comes off as so deceptive to me.
Okay.
Is he calling his wife an adolescence?
Admittedly, I'm going to frame this by saying, admittedly, this is pertaining to adolescence. Okay. But I'm sure this has application to adults.
Oh, sure.
Sure does.
Relying
Especially when you're that immature.
on surveys about the frequency of cyber stalking may keep us from understanding that although cyber aggression may be an extremely low base rate event, so even among adolescents, cyber stalking and cyber aggression is fairly low. That's good news, right?
Okay.
I feel like Lauren just made a face like, challenge accepted.
Since I stopped in the middle of that, I'll go again. Although cyber aggression may be an extremely low base event, it hurts terribly even if it only happens once. This is according to their survey. The impact of even a single episode is potentially extremely serious because the behavior is immediately viewed by hundreds of friends and followers and is preserved forever in digital form. I can tell you how much that impacted you, and they're proving it.
Well, one reason we chose to not say this person's name and to blur her and the TikToks, which we didn't need to do, was because of understanding we're not going to do that.
Correct.
No, instead, you wanted to take shit real life, drag her into court, and have her slapped with a restraining order. What the I don't think that would have had the same or even worse effect than you just saying her name. And I'm sorry, we're talking about cyber harassment, right? Saying someone's name, just saying, hey, listen, I had a falling out with this person, Lord, that's not cyber harassment.
She appeared publicly. She wanted everyone to find her. She was working on algorithms. She admits that on the TikTok. Come join me.
She put her shit on her TikTok. She made content out of this. Pretty sure she was fine with the public knowing. So you don't cry for that. I mean, what the fuck?
Send the word, spread the word. Here we are. And we still did do that because we understand what that means. We didn't want to do
We went
that to
through
her.
it. We went through it. But I mean, like, this is
You went through
extraordinary
what?
because when people mock you about whether this is cyberbullying, when people say team Lauren's a joke, I don't know what they're saying. I don't care. But the point, like,
But you should, I hit it again. You should know what they're saying, and you should care since you're using what they're saying to make your case. So when they say Team Lauren, or I don't know what they're saying, then what the fuck are you saying? Okay, now I gotta find where I left off. Damn it.
by not giving you any room for complexity, not giving you any lower self-confidence. The absorption addiction model says,
When I was a teen, I saved the pen that a singer signed.
it off the shelf would be like $5, right? But I can't find my notes. Oh, there it is. I guess to some degree. By the way, you get recognized all the time in public afterwards, and they both admired by or
Oh, we get a chart.
A narcissistic linking.
I'm so here for the chart.
so any threats or any posts on social media.
Where did I leave off?
Let me, since I stopped in the middle of that, I'll go again. Has application to adults.
Sure it does.
Okay.
Relying on surveys about problems, loneliness, depression, borne out by research and evidence of stalking. So for Malloy, stalking begins with what he calls a narcissistic linking.
I'm gonna make this bigger and read it for a second. Come on, go. Okay. Narcissistic linking fantasy. Special, loved, idealized, admired by, superior to, destined to be with the object. Acute or chronic rejection. Feelings of shame, humiliation. Defended against with rage. Fuels behavioral pursuit to hurt, to control, to damage, or destroy. Stores narcissistic linking fantasy. When the fuck did any of these things happen? Like, for real. Like,
Fantasy.
This is so interesting to me. Guys, she was explaining this to me, and I was like, "Oh, okay."
You're like, oh crap.
Okay, here we go. A narcissistic linking.
Like, obviously, but in our little niche, people know us, and that, by the way, is sufficient. That's sufficient to have someone fangirl you, or me, I guess, to some degree. By the way,
wait, it's buffering. All right.
you get recognized all the time in public. Yesterday or last week was the first time somebody recognized. I was at a Trader Joe's.
They were like, "Is your wife the one that did that crazy 9-hour live?"
No, that was before. I was wearing a mask. I was wearing a mask in Trader Joe's because I thought nobody would recognize me. And
So locally, where they live, wasn't she also like a local news news or something like that? So she was on TV. So someone locally recognized the local previous news anchor and now podcast. Okay, let's see. Walk through like I don't know, like Clinton County, New York. I wonder. I don't think she.
want to get sick because Trader Joe's is kind of a tight space. But somebody came up to me and they're like, "Are you Dr. John with Hidden True Crime?" And I was like, maybe.
Who's that?
I don't know.
I'm on a tight schedule to go.
Anyway,
You were very flattered.
I was flattered. She was very kind. I just thanked her for watching us. I told her I was very appreciative that she recognized me and watched us. But
It doesn't happen a lot.
it doesn't happen a lot. It happened once with me. My point is, though, that although you're not a celebrity at a major level, you're a celebrity enough to TikToker that detectives are applying this fangirl. So
What?
That brings me to,
Does he think girl hasn't been a word for long? What?
I talked earlier about psychological essentialism as a psychological essentialism. Now I'm going to talk about something called life force essentialism.
I feel like his voice is sucking out my life force.
Life force essentialism is different than category essentialism in the sense that
Doing cat. Oh, I get rid of your bed. That's right.
I
I'm
can't
sorry.
find my notes.
I'm sorry.
Oh, there it is. Life
I
force.
got his notes down as they're all spread out. I'm like, there you go. Life force essentialism. Boom.
I'm doing a good job of managing them. So
You are. You're doing great.
life force essentialism is different than category essentialism in the sense that with life force essentialism, people see things and objects as having an underlying essence. And oftentimes that underlying essence might be seen as having special properties. So like an example of that would be, let's say that Ohtani, who plays for the Dodgers, hits the game-winning home run in the World Series that's coming up.
Mm-hmm.
The baseball that he
Did they win? I don't even know who won the World Series. Holy shit. Was it Toronto or the Dodgers? I don't even know. Fuck. I kind of hope Toronto won. But.
hits, hypothetically, right? That
That was fun last night, though.
the World Series hasn't been played. The baseball that he hits, let's say the baseball he hits to win the World Series in 25 is caught by a fan, right? Mm-hmm. Let's say it's caught by a kid. That baseball now has a lot of value. That's a baseball that if you just bought it off the shelf would be like $5, right? But because Ohtani hit it, now acquires what's called life force essentialism.
I was speaking in my last video there how I went to this luncheon yesterday. This dude had like millions of dollars worth of cars probably. But what was really cool, and what added a lot of value to this one car was that it was once owned by the president of Peru. That was so cool. I don't know. I found that cool.
Essentialism. It requires a special property, this almost magical property of having been hit by Ohtani in the World Series, right? It requires this life force quality that people want and they're willing to pay for. So it's a baseball.
Is he trying to say that if she were a baseball, she'd be the ball that they do for a home run, for a World Series winning home run? I hope that's not it.
It's just a baseball, special. Right? But it's.
She's even shaking her head. Yeah, it's not, but it kind of is.
But it's now worth millions of dollars because people attribute these magical properties to it, or these special properties to it, right? The same thing is true of.
It's nostalgia. It's a piece of history. It's always going to be valuable.
Celebrities. So
when I was a teen, I saved the pen that a singer signed with backstage.
Right, because you thought it had special qualities. And
right.
So this is one of the reasons why
I love how he's saying how this baseball did have special qualities and therefore was more valuable. She's talking about a pen. He's like, yeah, because you had special. You silly little girl. That's how he sounds, like, for real.
People want to associate with celebrities. So, for example, I remember years ago, there was some celebrity auction where I think George Clooney was like auctioning off one of his sweaters or something. And so.
And Dr. John was just so fucking upset because it wasn't Brad Pitt. Maybe.
And somebody paid like $250,000 for that. The sweater by itself was.
But Brad Pitt's would have gotten so much more.
Probably worth $100, $150. I don't know. Maybe it's George Clooney.
Yeah, but
$500, right? But because George Clooney wore it, people perceived that it had special properties. and they bought it for $250,000. And guess what? The person who bought it, I will never wash this sweater, because the idea somehow is that even though it's the same damn sweater,
George Clooney might have sweating it now.
right?
You know?
Because George Clooney's DNA is on this thing.
The first place his mind goes is DNA, not like his scent. You know, like a lot of people I think would be like, oh, this was George Clooney sweater. He's just like DNA, bitch. It's
The person's never going to wash it because they feel like they have some connection to George Clooney, right? So if they wear that sweater, they're like, hey, I'm Clooney or whatever. So, but that's called life force essentialism.
Brad Pitt, please don't let this man ever have your DNA, because then he might start to think he's you. Keep your sweaters away from him.
The reason I mention that is because when we think about this idea of a narcissistic linking fantasy, this idea of life force essentialism is part of the fantasy. The fantasy is if you're, as the detective said, if someone is fangirling someone, they're trying to get some of that essence. So I
feel like this whole stream is just like one big giant example of hypocrisy. He's up there talking and trying to educate school people on narcissistic traits while just talking about his knowledge the whole time and how he can just break this down into just this moralistic, virtuistic war or whatever. And he and his wife, well, they're the noble ones. I can't think of any more narcissistic. Well, I could probably, but it's pretty narcissistic.
the part of this narcissistic linking fantasy for the TikToker has to do this idea of being a, let's call it a pseudo stan or a semi stan, right? It has to do with the fact that all the detectives in Colorado that talked to you about the situation, they saw the TikToker as a fangirl. That's how they defined her, right? And so it's interesting that there's this fantasy here about whatever the special quality you have, it's going to rub off on her. And that's part of this. That's part of this idea of not wanting to lose that connection to you.
Oh my God. Is he seriously convinced that this whole thing is just, it's solely all about this woman who wanted the essence of this perfect baseball to rub off on her and make her worth $1 million, and she can't lose that connection? What? Like, it's, I think I've ever seen someone have delusions of grandeur for another person before. Like, usually people have it for themselves or of themselves. I think I've ever seen someone have it for someone else. That's the most bizarre thing right now. What the fuck?
And having said that, I think it's, if we're going to talk about the psychology of stalking, there's some elements here that there's been some research on stans that we need to talk about. So some of the elements that they found that create stans that engage in the type of celebrity worship or even fangirl people at a lower level like you.
Or like a parasocial relationship, maybe.
They found that an insecure parental attachment is typically common in stans. They found that parental absence.
That's ironic because I feel that's around in YouTubers. Possibly. Yeah.
So not even abuse, not neglect, not childhood trauma, parental absence. So one parent, one or the other or both parents can be absent more than usual. The presumption here is obvious that if a parent is absent or not giving the child enough attention, it could be that you grow up in a really big family and maybe one of the parents isn't as available. The presumption is that the reason you stalk celebrities or you fangirl pseudo celebrities or semi celebrities is because you're trying to make up for that parental absence. You're trying to engage with a parental figure or a special figure that somehow is going to give you something you didn't have when you were a child.
What? Like if you are befriending or like obsessing about a famous person who is like 5 years younger than you, you're just looking for your parental figure or whatever. That's bullshit. I'm sure that is the case with maybe children or preteens or early teens or even teenagers. Sure. I can see that. Especially since the whole absent parent thing is very fresh in their lives, for whatever reason. But at our age, I think people cling on to things, places, or events that they deem to be of importance, so they themselves can feel important. But still, none of that applies to Christina. So what the fuck?
There was a study in Hong Kong that looked at
Now we're cherry picking from Hong Kong. Okay.
adolescents who engaged in celebrity worship. What they found was a couple of things. The subject in the study who did not.
If you are watching the stream, either now or on the replay, like, just every so often, just don't look at Dr. John. Just look at Lauren, because she makes, I don't know. It's like her face is doing it at times, and I don't know.
Have any particular preference for celebrities, tended to have fairly high confidence and fairly self-esteem. The kids who went after celebrities and engaged stans, who engaged in more celebrity worship, they had a weaker sense of self and lower self-confidence. The absorption addiction model says that stans or fangirls or fanboys, whatever, stans pursue parasocial relationships, so in other words, not real significant not relationships where you know someone. Stans pursue parasocial relationships to make up for shortages in their real lives. And in that pursuit,
To feel important, maybe?
they end up losing themselves. That's called
Stands in general.
that's called the absorption.
I still, one huge piece of disbelief I've been having throughout this entire stream, this entire course of time of watching this, is that I can't believe people actually go to school for years to realize a lot of these things. Like, I don't know. Like, do you really just have far less actual real life human interactions throughout their days that they have to learn about every human behavior from a textbook? I mean, I guess it's possible. Like when I was younger, you never got me home ever. My kids growing up and they were always home, I don't know.
I think we see elements of that here. That I think in some ways, a lot of people have said online, get a life, grow up, right? That's saying the same thing. That's saying whatever's going on in this talker's life, that it's somehow deficient.
When it comes to media law, I think
When people get offline and get a life, and it's kind of a bullshit thing to say, whatever, because sometimes it's that life that they have online that's actually getting them through life, maybe. But like sometimes, yeah, I think people just need to have the real life relationships, have the immediate, instant back and forth, face to face with people. The laughs, the debates, the conjecture, whatever, and the love. Yeah, and I think everyone needs to get online sometimes and experience that. I know I do.
think that I would find myself a limited public figure. Anyway, keep going. People can disagree with that, but legally speaking.
But it's the same dynamic.
Mm-hmm.
The point is, it's the same dynamic that fangirling anyone.
I guess, sure. I had no idea who it was and I never streamed, but yeah, I guess so. Whatever.
One is this attempt to make up for deficits in someone's life.
Yeah.
You mean people do some fucked up things to kind of make up for their shortcomings? Get out. I don't know. It just seems like so much of this is like he's using like this matter of fact stuff, and he's presenting it as though it's some like your realization moment, and that's why he's correct, and that's why they're correct, and that's why everyone else is just fucking wrong. It's lazy. I think. I don't know.
There's a woman, her name is Amanda Montell. She wrote a book called The Age of Magical Overthinking. This is going to be a quote from her book, page 24. She's talking about celebrity worship. This doesn't refer to you. This just refers to her thoughts in general.
In general.
Quote Montell, quote, page 24. In both the public and private spheres, worship is dehumanizing. To be deified is not so flattering. The dynamic risks annihilating a person's room for complexity and blunders, and this sets everyone up for suffering.
Wow. It's really fascinating. Worship is dehumanizing. You were looking at the book. I just see the book.
Yeah.
I want to hold it up. Keep reading. Keep going.
And it's unfair.
So let me
like when you like this is what I don't understand about YouTube, and like I see it all the time. Like people enjoy a YouTuber, but then that YouTuber says or does something that the viewer just doesn't agree with, and then they want to turn on the YouTuber. I mean, you can sure argue back or say, yo, I don't really think that's the right take to have, or something, or maybe consider this, or where the fuck are you coming from? Whatever, I get that. But to want to just then tear them down because I don't know, they didn't share the same opinion as you, or they don't want to be your friend, or they don't really want to talk with you. I mean, they don't owe you anything. There's no obligation. You're not owed anything. Just because you enjoy a YouTube channel and you watch it, and your views very help provide their salary, doesn't mean that they owe you anything, except for maybe more content if they want to keep getting paid. What the hell is that noise?
read that again. So the dehumanization in the smear campaign is the fact that you're portrayed as evil, right? Like, that you've been labeled psychological essentialism. You've taken certain text or whatever and private text, and they've labeled you evil. And then there's this crusade.
Yeah.
What text have they taken to label her evil? I'm curious.
But there's other ways you can dehumanize. And one of them is by portraying someone as something they're not giving them the room to, as she says, not give them the room to be complex and to make blunders. If you don't give someone the room to be complex and to make blunders, you, according to her, I agree, you set everyone up for suffering. Because you're not defining it as a real relationship.
Yeah.
You're defining it as a cliche, right, rigid, narrow relationship. And if you do that, so if you're fangirling someone and the relationship turns out to be not what you expected, there's a lot of room in there for disappointment. There's a lot of room in there for anger. There's a lot of room to turn against someone because that relationship is turning out not to be what you wanted. And so now that I'm thinking about this, I'm actually going to read another quote from Amanda's book, Act Like I Know Her.
Really interesting. You did not talk about this.
Act Like I Know Her. I don't know her.
Yeah.
It's a very interesting book.
That's true. I see celebrities dehumanized all the time. Real celebrities.
Yeah, I think just one more stream will do it. We're at 240. We'll say 240. And it's what? How long is it? Like, there's only about an hour left. So I am going to wrap this up because I have to be at work at 10. I agreed to cover like a half shift for someone I'm going. So I'm going to get going. But first though, I want to ask you all to help or participate should you want to, whatever. So I'm working on an entitlement translate video of the 9-hour live stream. The thing is though, is that it's a 9-hour live stream. Okay. if anyone who watches this, they're now on the replay, has also watched some of the 9-hour live stream, and there are some moments that really stood out to you, I asked if you want to maybe see that included into the entitlement translator video, to just send me the timestamps. You don't have to you don't have to send me the screen clip or whatever. Just, it's the part I'm thinking of starts at this timestamp and ends at this one. That's it. You can send it. You can leave it in the comment section under the stream. You can email it to me, ekcpeoplesuck, channel gmail.com. You can send it to me on Twitter at Slayer Utica, SLAYER UTICA on Twitter. Yeah, that's about it. So if there's anything you thought, any part of it that really stood out to you and you think should be addressed, then consider sending me the timestamps. I will put it in the video. So, all right, everyone, thanks for watching. I do plan to come back and do more live streams more frequently, much like I used to. So yeah, I'm also coming up on the holiday season though. I'm a professional bartender, so this is a very busy time of year, but I'm still gonna make time to live stream, even if it's middle of the fucking night. So thanks for watching, everyone, and have a great evening. And oh shit, damn it, it went away. 1 second. I'm gonna play outro. It's gonna take a while. There we go. I have an iMac and it's so very slow. I wish I had a better, I have a great laptop. It's very fast, but it's kind of falling apart. So, all right. Thanks everyone for watching and have a great evening. Bye now. As soon as it starts playing.